The fluorescent lights in the grocery store buzzed softly overhead. Emma stood in the baby formula aisle, staring at the shelf like it might suddenly change. Her hand rested on the shopping cart handle. Inside sat her 6-month-old daughter, Lily, wrapped in a blanket that had been washed too many times. The prices hadn't changed since yesterday. She'd known they wouldn't. Emma's phone showed $23.47 in her checking account. The formula cost $31.99. She did the math again in her head, even though she'd already done it 3 times that morning. Rent was paid, electricity was paid. Her car had just enough gas to get to her 2 jobs this week. But the formula. She reached for the canister anyway, holding it for a moment before putting it in the cart. Maybe the card would go through. Maybe there was an error in her account balance. Maybe. Behind her, a man's voice spoke quietly. "Excuse me." Emma turned. He was tall, wearing a simple gray sweater and jeans, dark hair, tired eyes. He held a basket with bread, peanut butter, and a small container of applesauce. "You dropped this," he said, holding out a pacifier. Emma's face flushed. "Oh, thank you." She took it, wiping it quickly on her sleeve before clipping it back to Lily's blanket. The man nodded and walked past her, selecting a jar of baby food from the shelf. Emma turned back to her cart. She stared at the formula canister. Then she took it out and put it back on the shelf. She'd figure something out. She always did. At the register, Emma placed her items on the conveyor belt. Diapers, a loaf of bread, a small jar of peanut butter, 2 cans of soup. The total came to $18.32. Relief washed over her as the card reader beeped green. She gathered her bags and turned toward the exit. That's when she saw him again, the man from the formula aisle. He was standing near the customer service desk, holding a canister of baby formula, the same brand she'd put back. He looked up and their eyes met. Emma's heart dropped. She quickly looked away and pushed her cart toward the automatic doors. Outside, the afternoon air was cool. She fumbled with her keys, hands shaking slightly as she unlocked the trunk of her old sedan. "Wait." She turned. The man was walking toward her, holding the formula. "Please," Emma said quickly. "I don't need—" "I bought the wrong kind," he interrupted, his voice calm. "My daughter's allergic to this brand. The store won't take returns on formula. I was going to throw it away, but—" He paused. "I saw you looking at it inside." Emma's throat tightened. "I can't," she whispered. "You'd be doing me a favor," he said simply. "Otherwise, it's just going in the trash." He held it out, not moving closer, just waiting. Emma looked at Lily, asleep in the cart, then back at the man. His eyes weren't pitying, they were just kind. Slowly, she reached out and took the canister. "Thank you," she managed. He nodded. "Take care." And then he walked away, getting into a black SUV 3 rows over. Emma stood there, holding the formula, tears blurring her vision. She didn't even know his name. That night, Emma fed Lily in the dim light of their 1-bedroom apartment. The formula dissolved perfectly in the warm water. Lily drank, her small hand curling around Emma's finger. Emma thought about the man in the grocery store, about the lie he'd told so she could accept help without feeling ashamed. She'd seen the basket he was carrying: baby food, bread, peanut butter, simple things. He wasn't wealthy, he was just decent. And that somehow made it harder, because she couldn't repay him, couldn't even thank him properly. Emma looked down at her daughter. "We'll be okay," she whispered. "We always are." But her voice cracked on the last word. 3 days later, Emma was at her evening job, stocking shelves at a small pharmacy on the edge of town. It was quiet work, predictable. She was organizing the pain relief aisle when she heard a child's voice. "Dad, I need the bathroom." Emma glanced up. It was him, the man from the grocery store, walking past with a little girl who looked about 4 years old. She had his dark hair and the same tired eyes. Emma quickly looked back at the shelf, heart pounding. She heard them walk toward the back of the store. For a moment, she considered hiding, leaving before they came back. But then she heard the little girl again. "Dad, they don't have paper towels." "I'll ask someone," the man said. Footsteps approached. Emma took a breath and turned. He stopped when he saw her, recognition flashing across his face. "Hi," he said. "Hi," Emma replied softly. An awkward pause settled between them. The little girl tugged on his sleeve. "Dad." "Right," he said. "Do you know if there are paper towels in the bathroom?" "There should be. If not, I can get some from the back." "Thank you." He started to walk away, then stopped. "How's your daughter?" he asked. Emma blinked. "She's good. The formula. Thank you. Really." He shook his head. "You don't have to thank me." "I do." Emma said. "You didn't have to do that." The man looked at her for a moment, something sad and understanding in his expression. "Yeah," he said quietly, "I did." And then he walked away with his daughter. Emma stood there, a box of bandages still in her hand. She realized she was crying. The next time Emma saw him was a week later. Same pharmacy, different aisle. He was reading the back of a children's cough syrup, his daughter leaning against his leg. Emma hesitated, then walked over. "That one tastes awful," she said softly. "The grape flavor's better." He looked up, surprised, then smiled slightly. "Thanks." Emma handed him the purple bottle. "Your daughter sick?" Emma asked. "Just a cold. Daycare germs." Emma nodded. "Lily just got over one." "Lily," he repeated. "That's a pretty name." "Thank you." They stood there for a moment. "I'm Daniel," he said finally. "Emma." "Emma." He repeated it the same way, like he was committing it to memory. His daughter tugged on his hand. "Dad, I'm tired." "I know, sweetheart," Daniel said, crouching down. "We'll go home soon." Emma watched him with the little girl, patient, gentle, exhausted. "How old is she?" Emma asked. 4. Her name's Sophie." "Hi, Sophie," Emma said. Sophie buried her face in Daniel's shoulder. "She's shy," Daniel explained, standing back up. "Lily's the same way," Emma said. "Well, she's only 6 months, but I imagine she will be." Daniel smiled, and for the first time, it reached his eyes. "You work here?" Daniel asked. "Evening shift, 3 nights a week. I work at a diner during the day." Daniel nodded slowly, understanding settling on his face. "That's a lot," he said. Emma shrugged. "It's what it is." Still, another pause. "I should let you get back to work," Daniel said. "Yeah, I should, yeah." But neither of them moved. "Thank you," Daniel said, "for the cough syrup recommendation." "Anytime." He walked toward the register, Sophie's hand in his. Emma watched them go, something warm and unfamiliar stirring in her chest. It became a routine, though neither of them planned it. Daniel started coming to the pharmacy once a week, always in the evening when Emma was working. Sometimes he needed something, sometimes he didn't. They'd talk in quiet voices between the aisles, small things. How Sophie's cold had cleared up, how Lily was starting to sit up on her own, how exhausting it was doing it alone. One night, Emma asked the question she'd been holding on to. "Sophie's mom?" Daniel's expression closed slightly. "She left when Sophie was 1, he said. Decided motherhood wasn't for her." Emma's heart ached. "I'm sorry." "Don't be," Daniel said. "She made her choice. Sophie and I are better off." "Still," he looked at her. "What about Lily's dad?" Emma's jaw tightened. "He was not a good person," she said carefully. "I left when I found out I was pregnant." Daniel nodded, no judgment in his eyes. "That must have been hard." "It was the right thing to do." "Doesn't mean it wasn't hard." Emma felt something crack open inside her chest. No one had ever said that before. The weeks blurred together. Daniel kept coming to the pharmacy. Emma started looking forward to Thursdays. One evening, Sophie wasn't with him. "She's at my mom's," Daniel explained. "I had to work late." "What do you do?" Emma asked. "I'm an architect," he said. "Mostly residential projects." Emma blinked. "Oh." "It's not as glamorous as it sounds," Daniel said quickly. "Lots of emails and building code regulations." Emma smiled. "Still, it sounds stable." "It is," Daniel admitted. "I'm lucky." He paused. "I grew up without much," he said. "My mom cleaned houses. My dad left when I was 6. I know what it's like." Emma's throat tightened. "Is that why you helped me?" she asked. "At the grocery store?" Daniel looked at her. "I helped you because I wanted to," he said simply. "Because I could. And because I know what it feels like to stand in that aisle and do the math and come up short." Emma's eyes burned. "You lied," she whispered. "About the formula? About your daughter being allergic?" Daniel didn't deny it. "I did." "Why?" "Because you needed help," he said, "and I needed you to take it." A tear slipped down Emma's cheek. "I'm not a charity case," she said, but there was no anger in her voice, just exhaustion. "I never thought you were," Daniel said. "I just thought you were a person who needed help, same as anyone." Emma wiped her eyes. "Thank you," she said again. "You keep saying that." "Because I keep meaning it." Daniel smiled, soft and sad. "You're doing a good job, Emma," he said. "With Lily, with everything." Emma's breath hitched. "You too," she managed. "With Sophie." They stood there in the quiet pharmacy, the fluorescent lights humming above them. 2 people carrying the weight of the world, finding a moment of rest. The turning point came on a Thursday in October. Emma was restocking vitamins when Daniel walked in, Sophie trailing behind him. But something was wrong. Sophie was crying softly, and Daniel looked pale. Emma put down the box and walked over. What happened? She fell at daycare, Daniel said, voice tight. Cut her forehead. They called me at work. I just came from urgent care. Sophie had a small butterfly bandage above her left eyebrow. Emma crouched down. Hey, Sophie, she said gently. That looks like it hurt. Sophie nodded, tears streaming down her face. You were very brave, Emma said. I bet you didn't even cry. I cried a lot, Sophie whispered. Emma smiled. That's okay. Crying helps sometimes. Sophie sniffled. Do you want to see something cool? Emma asked. Sophie nodded hesitantly. Emma stood and walked to the toy aisle, Daniel and Sophie following. She picked up a small stuffed bear with a bandage on its head. This is Dr. Bear, Emma said. He helps people who get hurt feel better. Sophie reached for it slowly. Can I have him? Emma glanced at Daniel. He pulled out his wallet, but Emma shook her head. My treat, she said. Emma, please, she said, let me. Daniel looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. Thank you. Sophie hugged the bear tightly. Thank you, Miss Emma, she said quietly. Emma's heart melted. You're welcome, sweetheart. Outside in the parking lot, Daniel stopped before getting into his SUV. You didn't have to do that, he said. I wanted to, Emma replied. Daniel smiled. Sounds familiar. Emma laughed softly. Sophie's lucky to have you, she said. I'm lucky to have her. He paused. And I'm lucky I met you. Emma's breath caught. Daniel? I don't mean... He stopped, running a hand through his hair. I'm not trying to make this weird. I just mean you're a good person, Emma, and I'm glad I know you. Emma felt tears prickling her eyes again. I'm glad I know you too. They stood there in the fading October light, two tired parents who had found something unexpected. Not romance, not yet, just connection. But the next week, Daniel didn't come to the pharmacy, or the week after that. Emma told herself it was fine. He didn't owe her anything. They were just acquaintances. But she missed him, missed the quiet conversations, missed the way he looked at her like she was more than just a struggling single mom, like she was a person worth knowing. 3 weeks later, Emma was at the grocery store, the same one where she'd first met Daniel. She was in the cereal aisle when she heard a small voice. Miss Emma! Emma turned. Sophie was running toward her, Daniel hurrying behind. Sophie, slow down! But Sophie was already hugging Emma's legs. Emma laughed, surprised and touched. Hi, Sophie. Hi, I missed you. Daniel caught up, slightly out of breath. Sorry, he said. She saw you and just took off. It's okay, Emma said, smiling down at Sophie. I missed you too. Where's Lily? Sophie asked. She's with my neighbor today, Emma said. I'm just doing quick shopping. Sophie nodded seriously, then ran back to the cart. Emma looked at Daniel. I haven't seen you at the pharmacy, she said, trying to keep her voice casual. I know, Daniel said. I've been thinking. About... He took a breath. About whether it's appropriate for me to ask you to have coffee sometime. Emma's heart stuttered. Coffee? She repeated. Yeah, just coffee. No pressure. He paused. I like talking to you, Emma, and I thought maybe we could talk somewhere that isn't a grocery store or pharmacy aisle. Emma stared at him. You want to have coffee with me? Yes. Why? Daniel blinked. Because I like you. You don't even know me. I know you work 2 jobs to take care of your daughter, Daniel said. I know you're kind to scared little girls in pharmacies. I know you're proud, but not too proud to accept help when you need it. I know you're doing your best every single day. He paused. That's enough for me to want to know more. Emma's eyes filled with tears. I don't have time for coffee, she whispered. Then lunch or a 10-minute conversation in a parking lot. I don't care. Daniel's voice was gentle but certain. I just want to keep knowing you, Emma, however that looks. Emma wiped her eyes. I don't know if I'm ready for... She couldn't finish the sentence. I'm not asking you to be ready for anything, Daniel said. I'm just asking if you want to have coffee. Emma laughed through her tears. Just coffee? Just coffee, he confirmed. She looked at him, this man who had helped her when she needed it, who never made her feel small, who saw her as a person worth knowing. Okay, she said. Daniel smiled, real and warm. Okay. Their first coffee was at a small cafe on a Sunday morning. Emma brought Lily. Daniel brought Sophie. The girls sat in high chairs and strollers, content with crayons and snacks. The adults talked about everything and nothing, about their childhoods and their hopes, about how hard it was and how worth it. I used to think I had to do everything alone, Emma said quietly, that asking for help was weakness. And now? Daniel asked. Now I think maybe it's just being human. Daniel reached across the table, his hand stopping just short of hers. Can I? He asked. Emma looked at his hand, then at his face. Slowly, she closed the distance, their fingers intertwined. It wasn't a grand gesture. It wasn't a movie moment. It was just two people choosing to stop being alone. Months passed. Emma and Daniel saw each other once a week, then twice, sometimes with the girls, sometimes without. They went slowly, carefully. Both of them had been hurt before. Both of them were protecting small hearts that depended on them. But slowly, trust built. Affection grew. One evening, 6 months after that first coffee, Daniel made dinner at his apartment. Lily and Sophie played on the floor with blocks. Emma helped in the kitchen, chopping vegetables while Daniel stirred sauce. This feels normal, Emma said. Good normal or bad normal? Daniel asked. Good normal, Emma said. Really good. Daniel set down the spoon and turned to her. I love you, he said. Emma's breath caught. You don't have to say it back, he added quickly. I just wanted you to know. Emma looked at him, this kind, patient, wonderful man who had walked into her life in a grocery store and changed everything. I love you too, she whispered. Daniel smiled, wide and unguarded. He cupped her face gently and kissed her. It was soft and warm and full of promise. When they pulled apart, Sophie's voice rang out. Daddy's kissing Miss Emma! Lily gurgled happily from the floor. Emma laughed, resting her forehead against Daniel's. Is this really happening? She whispered. Yeah, Daniel said. It really is. A year later, Emma stood in the baby formula aisle of the grocery store, but this time she wasn't alone. Daniel stood beside her, Sophie holding his hand. Emma held Lily on her hip, the toddler babbling happily. Which one? Emma asked. The one with the purple lid, Daniel said. It's on sale. Emma grabbed it easily, placing it in the cart. No math in her head, no panic, no shame. She'd kept her apartment, her independence, but she also had something new. Partnership, love, a family that chose each other. They walked to the register together, Daniel's hand finding hers. Emma squeezed it gently. Thank you, she said. For what? For seeing me, Emma said, in that aisle, that first day. Daniel smiled. Thank you for letting me. That night, after the girls were asleep, Emma and Daniel sat on his couch. Her head rested on his shoulder, his arm wrapped around. Do you ever think about that day? Emma asked. At the store? All the time, Daniel said. Do you regret it? Not for a second. Emma closed her eyes. I used to think kindness came with strings attached, she said, that nothing was free. And now? Now I think sometimes kindness is just kindness, Emma said, and sometimes it changes everything. Daniel kissed the top of her head. Sometimes it does. Outside, the world continued, loud and complicated and hard. But inside this moment, two people who had been struggling alone had found something better. Not a rescue, not a fairy tale, just two humans seeing each other's worth and choosing to walk forward together.